Welcome to the Critical Minds on Union Television. I am Onyinye Esilofo. Today we'll be talking about something people in the society have little knowledge about. Not everybody knows about it. And there are a lot of people living with it, and some of them are really being stigmatized. We have today with us someone who's experienced in it. He's going to be talking about it from experience, and he'll also be educating us on what it is and what challenges people with it have lived or are still living with, and how you can support them. He's a member of the UK Autistic Society, a forum where they provide support for people living with autism and also create awareness about autism. So we have Mr. Adejumo Adedeji with us today. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Nice meeting you.
I'm glad to have you with us today. We are going to be discussing autism, challenges, and support system. We'll be going on a short break now, and when we come back from this break, we'll be delving deep into this topic. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Critical Minds. We're still discussing autism, challenges, and support system. Mr. Deji is autistic, and we want to know what it feels like and how you've been living with autism.
Well, it's not been easy. Even when I was a kid, I was non-verbal. I could not talk, and I could not communicate. After some time, they took me to where I can start learning how to talk, learning how to speak. And I also struggled a lot with
What were you
learning.
struggling with?
Well, I struggled with learning difficulties. Like in academy, I struggled a lot. Understanding people, how to understand left to my right. I could not cope with it. And making friends then. I always knew to be alone or be on my own then.
Was it just something you like to do? Like you like being on your own, or people don't want to associate with you?
Well, that time I just did not have any friends. I was always on my own when I was a kid. Until I started getting older and older. That's how I noticed that I just like being on my own. I sat down in one corner. I never played with anybody when I was a kid then.
Was it choice?
I need to play with toys, I need to hum, make noise, but I never played with any friends.
Okay. So how do people perceive you at the time?
They perceived it by my tone. It was blunt. The way I need to behave, or my low mood, and how I need to act and how I need to react to some certain things. Then particular interests that I like vacuum cleaners, scrubbing machines. Anytime I see machines, I'm always happy to see them. I had interest in hoovers, especially when they clean in the school. I need to take the vacuum cleaner and start helping, even in church over there. I need to clean with the school hoover or clean the church.
Was it when you were still in primary school, or?
When I was in primary school.
Oh, amazing.
So they'll just know that I like hoovering, or even the house.
Okay.
Also, yeah.
So what in your own term now, what do you think autism is?
Autism is a big spectrum. It's a big spectrum, different spectrums. They have severe, they have non-verbal, but it's a big spectrum. You can't classify it, but autism is autism.
Okay.
And it affects people in different ways, like academics, like people that cannot learn. Most people need to wonder why I'm not learning, I'm very slow. Nobody knew that I had autism.
Oh, so they just considered you as someone who was performing low in class?
Yeah, or not doing well.
Okay.
Especially when I came here when I was a kid, they considered me as someone that did not know what to do, or not a serious person. Not knowing it was that thing that was affecting me. Late development learning.
Okay.
So one thing about it, if I could not pass my exams or everything, they'll start punishing you in a bad way, beating you. But all these things too is part of the spectrum condition. Learning. And most people kept on wondering I could not pass. I failed my exams so many times, even in primary school and secondary school. Nobody knew the thing that was wrong with me. And over here, I kept on running away, running and running and running away. It was part of it.
But were you trying to, while you were failing in school,
Yeah.
were you putting in the work, like trying to read to pass your exams?
I was trying to read, but I could never pass. And I think people were not awareness of it then. I think it was all about people supporting. I don't know now, things should be more better than before, but people with that struggle to learn, even to pronounce words, different things. I may say something now, you will see it as a different thing. Yeah.
Okay. So at the time when you were growing up and then you were staying alone, were your parents being cautious about you? Or sometimes like this child needs special attention.
My mom knew something was wrong. My mom knew something was not right about it. And then the primary school over there in UK said that your son may have borderline autism. But now they found that it's spectrum disorder, which is a development late learning I had.
So spectrum disorder is
Yeah.
late development.
Yeah.
Like it comes
And it's a condition.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a very big spectrum on its own.
So, and then what about the borderline autism?
Borderline is between the middle. Then you have the severe ones that cannot speak or cannot talk. They don't have any awareness. They can't even go on their own. They can't even communicate. And you have the ones that can communicate. If you tell those ones to do something, they'll do it. And there's some that cannot relate or they can't talk. They can't communicate. They can't say something easily. Sometimes they use signs to help them. They have sign language that will help them relate and communicate.
So is this to say that people who are mute are autistic, some of them?
Yep.
That's another kind of autism.
Yeah, non-verbal.
Okay.
And you have the one that can talk, but you won't know that they're autistic.
So how do you now get to know that they are autistic, since they can talk and you wouldn't know they're autistic?
Well, you know some signs. You just know the way they behave, the reaction. Especially now, I'm going to give you an example. I went to a shop in Lagos, taking KFC. I don't think they knew what happened, and they asked me to get up. And I had a meltdown there, which they did not know. And there was too much going on. I could not have correct the information, too much processing, too many people around. I needed them to leave me alone so I can calm down. They never know until somebody came, oh, this guy, you need to leave him alone. So it's awareness, they need to learn and think about that. Take this into consideration. Even in some schools in Nigeria, there are children with it that you won't even know that have it. It's for them to support the child and educate them, sit down one-to-one with them. I was supposed to have that there, but they sent me back home. So education was a problem for me. And I kept on running away because I could not cope with the anxiety, the stress. Kept on running. I fully went to school because it affected all my life. Then after some time, there will be some things I don't want. There will be some things that I'm not used to.
Things like what?
Well, too much people near me makes me intimidated. I get scared. Then when I'm talking, the communication, if you don't communicate with me, sometimes I can get overwhelmed a certain way that you won't even know, which anybody will not react.
So it's more like being aggressive or
Aggressive.
neglected.
Oh yeah. And when I have a bad day, the outburst will just fire out of my mouth immediately. I cannot control it. Sometimes I can't control my emotions. Sometimes I try to control it, but I can't control it. Even this badge, is for people recognize it as hidden disability over there. That's where they know the person had a hidden disability. So that's why I have a badge on. In case I'm going out in the public, people will know.
So in case there's an outburst,
oh yeah,
they will be able to accommodate.
To identify and be able to help.
So what are the early symptoms of autism?
Well, the symptoms.
Like when it's just starting, probably there are people who have children who are autistic, but they don't even know. So what are the signs you see, and then
the symptoms you start saying that they can't talk. They can't say much. They can't talk. You start saying that they're always alone. They don't make friends. They're always on their own. And most of them cannot do puzzles. Like me, I could not do puzzles. I could not do bricks. That's how they start knowing something is not right, or the mood. You have low mood. Sometimes you're high, sometimes you're low.
When it's low mood, what does it look like?
Sometimes you may be angry. You may be depressed. You can get agitated easily with that also.
During the low mood?
Yeah, the low mood, sometimes you won't want to talk to anybody, or you don't want to move with anybody.
You just want to
be alone.
Okay.
And sometimes you won't be happy with anybody. Your tone will be blunt. Okay, it's like I said good morning. That's all. It's like that tone is not the normal way I'll greet. And if I'm happy, then you see that I'm happy. But if I'm disappointed, I'm angry, you will see it from my face expression that I'm not interested to see anything.
So when you're having low mood, how long does it last?
Sometimes it can last a whole time. Sometimes it can last for some time. And sometimes it can last for a whole day.
Okay. And then you just snap out of it?
I'll snap out sometimes. And sometimes the whole day will be spoiled for me. From one problem to another problem.
Because, okay, like when you're having a low mood and there are people around you, but you don't want to associate with them.
Yeah.
So does it lead you to problem, or how do you know?
It leads me to have a meltdown. Where I'll get angry and start shouting, or I'll burst. Especially where people touch me. In certain parts, I don't want people touching me in the wrong way. It leads to that kind of issue whereby my reaction will change immediately. Strong smells, like there's some sensitive smells that I can't cope with. When it comes to garlic, can't cope with strong smells that are too powerful, or ginger, all those smoke, all these strong smells like foil. Those smells I just want to avoid. Especially if someone are taking curry and I'm next to you, they smell, I want to step back away from you. Give me space. Or if I'm sitting down in a crowded train or bus over there, I just want space to be alone. I just want nobody coming near me.
And when people come near you?
Then it's like I try to tell them move. Now that I have my badge, do you mind moving away, please? Just give me space. And especially when there's too many people near me, I feel very intimidated. That's why most of the time I don't take crowded trains, crowded buses, on crowded places. I avoid them.
And then when you have high mood, what does it look like?
Well, when I'm high, I'm happy. I chill. I talk to people. I say hello. And especially when I go somewhere new, I'm very observant. But after some time, I get used to it. I start getting to know the people. Start talking with some people, start saying hello. But when I'm upset, my face is never the same.
Amazing. So do you think there are significant things that has happened to you before that you're not comfortable with, that is as a result of your being autistic?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe they did not have me supported then. There was no support and nobody ever knew. All these kind of things. People were not awareness then. But now the awareness is more. I'd worked in a special needs school in the UK and I learned a lot. Even the ones that cannot talk, the ones on wheelchair, most of them have different spectrum conditions, which is part of it. And I started making friends with some of them, said hello to them when I'm cleaning. I would say hi, greet them, even if they can't talk, but they hear what I have to say. And they smile with me.
Like in the autistic forum?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
And I meet people that is on the spectrum like me, that have the same meltdown, that have the same issue.
So how do you cope with them?
I cope with them normally. Because when you see people like that, you're always going to do well with them. You say hello to them, they greet one another. And the ones that can talk like me, high function. You also have the high function ones that talk, and you have the ones that cannot talk that well. But at least you say hello to them, you greet them, we support one another.
Awesome.
We share experience.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We're going on a short break now, and when we come back from this break, we'll be continuing this conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Critical Minds. We're still discussing autism, challenges, and support system. So you talked about you coping with people who have similar cases as
yes,
yours.
Correct.
And when you're not within that environment, or for the times you were in Nigeria, what was it like for you?
It was difficult. It was very hard. I would say it's frustrating.
Why do you think it's frustrating?
Because people don't know what's wrong.
Are there events or experiences you can share?
They just think it's spiritual. Okay. When you're not learning well, or you're not passing your exams, you're not learning well, or you keep repeating. All right, I'm going to say there's a time I was in Victory Christian College, Ibadan. I kept on failing my exams. I could not pass. It was a struggle for me. And anytime I failed, the teacher will start beating you, disciplining you.
The school children?
The teachers.
Okay.
They will start scolding you, thinking that you don't want to learn. But at the same time, these are the things that people struggle with. So they'll start beating me, and I'll be like, I don't even understand. Sometimes you tell me something, I'll forget. And I can't memorize it. That's one of the problems. And not knowing that they should have understood that, or maybe this person has problems in learning. But people were always looking at you as a failure, making jest of you. Then, especially when you don't say things well, they mean something else different. And that's what people don't get to today. That some people, not everybody is the same. You can't judge everybody. Some people need special assistance. That's one of the things that we need to understand. There are children like that that cannot learn. They need support, they need help. So even secondary schools and primary schools should look out for things like that. Children that cannot learn or cannot pass or not good in academies, they need assistance.
So was there any time you were able to receive help while you were in school in Nigeria? Maybe someone sat with you and the person's trying to put you through, or did you go or have homeschool privately? So how did you now manage your anger? Because when you're having outbursts, and probably it's something that you used to having for over 30 years, and then you're now beginning to manage it. How are you able to do that? Because a lot of people with autism struggle with that.
Well, it's not been easy for me. It's not been easy, but I tried my best to be patient. Sometimes I count 1, 2, 3, or sometimes when I know that will come, I will rather step out. Or there's some things that, like now, when I go back, they'll give me a headphone, so I won't hear too much noise, or I can go on my own and not hear noises, or people touch me, so I won't just see them. I'll avoid them.
I like to understand this headphone. So when you're putting on the headphone, what does it do to you?
The headphone will not allow you to hear a lot of noises.
Well, what are you listening while with the headphone?
Is that to... now, that headphone is for autistic people that don't want to... There's nothing there, but it's just to avoid the noises. Because one thing about people on the spectrum, loud noise, crowd, too many sensory issues, too many informations like that. But the noises, when you're in a crowded area, it makes you get anxious. So this headphone will just make sure you don't hear loud noises or you don't get too much anxiety. It does make sure your ears don't hear anything and you just move on.
So if you don't hear anything, do you feel?
I won't even feel because I'll just keep moving. And if anybody's calling me, sometimes I don't need to even get there if I don't want to see them. Just put my earphone on, move my way.
So with the earphone, you don't hear, you don't see, you don't feel.
I
It's
don't
just
feel.
you in your world.
Me in my world. Correct.
Also,
Yeah.
and that helps you to control how you interact with people.
Oh, yes. Correctly.
So I do think this the headset, if it's something that more people should use, or if it's in any way detaching you from community.
I think the headphone is good for people to use, especially those ones that don't like loud noises or don't like too much crowd and they're just focusing in their own world of their own. I think it helps.
Now, do you wear this headphone only when you're at home or when you're also going out and
Especially when
about?
I'm going out, I wear it.
How about the road? People, I'm thinking about the risk now because you can't hear anything. So if there's something coming, nobody can call your attention to it.
Well, when you are going, you also be vigilant. At
Okay.
least I'll look left and right, I'll know what is going on and how to escape it. But it will just help me escape the noises.
Okay.
I escape too much loud information, music, all these loud things coming. At least it will keep me calm. So I don't go too high or have an issue.
I mean, it helps you to focus.
Focus. Yep.
We're still discussing autism, challenges and support system. And we were talking about the headset, right?
Yep.
And how it helps people with autism to focus. But
Correct.
then again, I want to know, are there measures that you take to help yourself remain calm, probably in an environment
Or
that is
public area.
yes.
All right. That helps to reduce the noises, the loud noises outside. It helps reduce the stress.
Stress.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it helps them calm down.
Okay. So if you're talking about I'm asking of what you do besides having the headset
Also,
on your own.
maybe
How do you
sometimes
want to manage it?
I can also play music in
Oh,
my ear. Listen to my favorite music. That's one of the things I like.
is it not loud?
Sometimes it's not loud for me. Sometimes I just say, and sometimes I like the music in my ears. So I listen to music as that's one of the things that can cope to level it down.
Okay. So you're talking about going to work and then rather than taking
The
the
bus,
train, yeah, or the
over there,
bus,
when I'm
yes.
intimidated. Sometimes I ride my bike, cycle to work.
Okay.
So if I don't want to enter a rowdy bus or I don't want to get there, I cycle with my bike. I'm free on my own to go,
Wow.
which is easy for me.
That's interesting. You
Yeah.
go and then you come back and it's just about you alone.
Yeah, and you feel fresh, you feel okay. At least you're not in the crowd. And also, people on the spectrum, most children don't like crowd or adults that don't like crowds. So most time I avoid those areas. I use my bike to cycle to where I want to go to avoid crowded trains, crowded buses.
So what about Nigeria that is crowded?
Sometimes it's best you don't go to crowded areas. Because if I go into a crowded area, I may not be able to cope. It'll be overwhelming. I have too much stress.
So I like to know, how have you been coping in the streets of Lagos?
Not been easy, but I make sure I always get vehicle that will be moving me up and down.
Okay.
Especially Kekamaria. They always help me out get to where I'm going to.
Just you alone.
There's me alone.
Oh,
It helps me to get away from the stress or the crowd, to
okay.
get to places faster without being too near people. Or most time I enter the front of the bus. I don't want to stay at the back where there are too many people. I just say, can I enter the front of the bus to avoid the crowd and too much distress?
Do you drive?
No, I can't even drive.
Hmm.
Number one, two, I got sleep apnea, which is a deadly destruction that I got. Sometimes I have to use something to cover my mouth, and it helps me with my sleep apnea.
So what is the sleep apnea?
Sleep apnea, whether you're big or small, but sleep apnea is one of the things. It's like you can't sleep well, or you keep sleeping off anytime you're on your own. You just keep sleeping off. My own is destructive. So they found out after some time that I got sleep apnea, and they decided to give me a sleep cap machine to use.
So how has it helped you?
It helps me breathe in and out. At the time I want to sleep, I put it in, so it makes me breathe in and out, and the air will come in, the oxygen helps me breathe in and out also.
Is it something that is associated with being autistic?
It's part of it. Underlying health conditions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the other underlying health conditions people with autism have?
Toiletry issues.
Okay.
Or maybe the kind of, let's say, eating disorder. Some of them do have eating disorder. You eat, you vomit. Sometimes, now, some of them wet themselves, you won't know why they wet themselves, whether they were stress or it's toiletry issues or they forgot themselves, too much anxiety, you won't know. These are part of it also. Not only being diagnosed, but there are issues that follow it. Underlying health conditions. Yeah.
So I was saying that there are children
Yeah.
who are intelligent.
Yeah.
You know, these children are smart.
Yep.
If they can answer questions,
Correct.
but they cannot write.
That's
Their
the
writing
problem.
is like this, like this, like this. But they are good. They are smart kids.
Yeah. No, they need more support. They need people to teach them.
Is that autism too?
That's part of it.
Okay.
They need, it's kind of slow learning. Some of them are slow in learning, so they need that support and assistance for them to learn how to read and write. That's what they need. They need people to be with them to assist them. Because sometimes not all of them can cope with it. So they need people to help them and know their needs. They need one-to-one support that can help them. Special needs teachers or support people that can help them learn how to read and write.
Amazing. For adults who are trying to manage themselves, there's this thing they call, like, is it stimming or self-stimming or something like
Oh,
that?
you call it self-stimming. Sometimes when you try to get angry, you self-steam.
So
Yeah. Sometimes you can whistle. Also, that can help you. You're steaming. It can help you reduce the stress or anxiety or reduce trouble. So it's self-steaming.
For how long can someone stim?
Well, as long as you want to get it calm, you can self-steam as you want until you're calm.
So it can be more than an hour, it can be 30 minutes.
Yeah, it can be 30 minutes, it can be more than an hour. And especially another thing, when they are disappointed or when they get angry, sometimes it's not good for somebody to drink water, any autistic person, just to cool them down, to relax, get them under control. Or count 1 to 3. Let them have fresh air, let them have space. This is what will help anybody before they have a meltdown, or if they do want to have a meltdown. These things can help them.
Now, talking about having space, right? You know, within the African culture and
Okay.
the way the African or the African parenting style, you can be talking to a child and your child is just looking at you. Go, the child is not going. Come, the child is not coming. And then the child walks away. The parent will start beating the child because that's disrespectful.
It's not even right for a parent to be beating the child like that.
So because you're saying that the child needs space, you're already disobedient and you want me to give you space.
Oh, you know, sometimes if the child cannot hear, it could be nonverbal if it cannot hear.
But the child can hear.
And sometimes it may not understand it or it may not have that awareness. There are signs like that that you know. But when you're an adult and you can speak, you can easily tell people I need space, move back. Like over there, when I feel very overwhelmed and everything is turning, please move back away from it. Step back. Just move. Or sometimes I walk away with, move back from my side, please. Go. I will show it to them, please. Just leave me alone. Let me be myself. Then people understand straight away.
So at the point of meltdown, is the person still able to speak?
The person can still speak, but the person will be getting angry. So it's always better to take the person aside, away. So the person will not start getting more agitated. And the more people speak to them, the more they get more angrier and more aggressive. So it's always better for them to get away from the situation, or people will take them aside away. Those who will intervene will take them aside or buy them cold water to cool their body down and breathing in and out. That's what helps.
So well, what causes autism? What do you think causes autism?
Well, I think it's from the brain. It's from the brain. That's what causes it. Or it could be from birth. Maybe it's the stress from the person that gave birth or from the brain. It's like brain disorder. That's one of the things I notice. That's why they call it spectrum disorder. Because it's from the brain that you think and the way you do things. That's what causes more autism.
Is it genetic? Is it something that you can find in the bloodline?
It's very genetic. Because I have a friend called Sean over there in UK. He works in the train station overground. And his children are very genetic. Even he himself is genetic.
So like
and
his children
wife.
are autistic?
Yeah.
His wife is autistic?
Yep.
And he's also autistic?
Oh, yes. My friend told me he's autistic and he got late diagnosed at the age of 50-something. Yeah.
Well, he was able to diagnose those of his children early.
All of them got diagnosed, yeah.
Now, talking about your society, how have you people been working together to help people living with autism and to create awareness? Like,
well, over there, we've been talking. I do meet them every month. We talk and share experience, and the leader is to make things more awareness and tell us about discrimination and how they teach us how to know things and be confident, what helpline you can call, all those kind of things.
okay. So when you're together, more like they teach you how to manage yourself and they
regulate.
teach you how to, in a way that you can understand.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Are your teachers also autistic?
Some teachers are autistic, you never know, and some you won't even know. But the people that I meet in that autistic society every month, most of them work, and while some cannot work. And most of them are just like me. They work, but they have meltdowns. They always have difficulties learning or things. But some, I meet different people. We talk together, share biscuits with tea. And after that, we meet another month again.
Okay.
I even told the lady in charge, Trisha, that I'll even make it awareness in Nigeria.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So, now that you know about this thing and you're working with people, you have a community where you people share experiences and then you people also help yourself. Well, what can you say to a child who is autistic, who is watching you?
Well, sometimes you have to be calm with them.
Like your advice to the child who is autistic and is going through challenges that you've gone through growing up.
Well, you have to support them, give them the best support they need show them love. Don't say things that will hurt them, because not all of them can control their emotions. So you have to educate them, show them love, show them support, especially the ones that are not doing well. In primary schools or secondary schools, teachers need to see them, go one-to-one with them.
Okay. Like now I'm asking you to advise or encourage somebody who has autism.
As a child
It doesn't matter
or
what
adult.
level, adult, child, what advice can you give or what word of encouragement can you give to the person?
Well, you just have to keep showing them and being with them and supporting them.
Okay, awesome. It's really been an interesting conversation because
Thank you
this
very much.
session has opened my eyes a lot to autism, and it's not really what we think it is. So if you have this child who is finding it difficult to learn or has learning disability, you should be able to assist. They just need more attention.
Yep.
So understand when they need help. Understand when they are saying things and they cannot say it because they are not responding and not looking at you. Is also a way of communicating. But due to being timid and fear, they cannot voice it. So help. Autistic children are not abnormal. They are not even insane. They are just autistic. And if we support them, we're going to live together with them peacefully. Like he mentioned, autism it's not a spiritual problem. It's a mental problem. And these people need assistance. They need love. And there's a big spectrum because people have different kinds of autism they're suffering from. So irrespective of what this person or what the spectrum is, be open to accommodating them. And this is where we draw the curtain today on autism challenges and support systems. For more interesting and insightful episodes, follow us across all our social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. As always, I am Onyinye Eslofo, and until I see you again, keep watching The Critical Minds on Union Television.